So what is our strategy? I mean, how do we have an app, we have a team. How do we get users? How do we get people to actually come and use the app? And how do we make money? So we could raise $10 million and pay Google AdWords or put advertisement on LinkedIn. Or I could say, if you create an account on FlexUp, we give you a €50 bonus, which is the strategy that Uber and Airbnb. Airbnb tells me if I refer a host, I get €300 cash for every friend that I refer to Airbnb. So these companies, they raise shitloads of money to acquire clients, either through advertisement or through sign-up bonus. I don't want to do that. So what is my strategy? I mean, you can see the slide, but I would like someone to tell the strategy in your own words. What is our strategy to get users? Padma, yeah?
Yeah. So we provide a mobile app, like a full service equipped application for them freely so they can use our application end to end for 1 year, get addicted to our application, and then purchase our application. So that's how we want to attract people. Um, and also we are attracting people by providing advices, not just as a application. So that advices also, we don't want to get them paid, we want to lock them with equity so that we provided services in long term you're going to associate with us, so they can bring other people. So we are not just giving freebies or cashes. The value proposition here is um, we give a life to your business, you use it, and then you like pay for us. um, we can be
Yeah,
associated.
very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So I'm going to try to rephrase some of the ideas, but what Padma says covers a lot of the strategy, right? So we attract users with a free app, and we also attract users by saying we will help you, and you don't have to pay us cash because you don't have any money, right? And for those people who were on the call with Zamtaco, you were on the call, Anwar. He said, I was asking him, I said, but what do you need now? Do you need cash? Do you need what did you really need? And he said, oh, I need to be coached. That's what I need. I need coaching as an entrepreneur. You have experience, Fabrizio, please coach me. Of course, he cannot pay a normal rate because the last year I was invoicing €400 an hour. He can't pay that, right? And maybe I will not be the one accompanying him. Maybe it will be Nico or another advisor. So the fact that we can really provide services at the beginning when they don't have money to pay, that's also very attractive. And as Padma says, if this guy succeeds in the future, then he will start paying for the app because either he has finished a 12 months free pro plan or he has gone above the pro plan. Then he starts paying the SaaS. And then when his business becomes profitable, we get our credit back. And maybe after a year, we say, look, now the service is not 100% credit. It's now 50% cash, 50% credit because you're making revenue and we need some cash too. So please start paying some cash, right?
I've got a question. This aims for entrepreneurs when they are creating the company or the business from scratch, but I can't fully understand how FlexUp would retain the startup after 3 or 5 years. Like, how is the
Good
hook there?
question. Good question. So basically there's two questions in your question. One, how do we retain an entrepreneur when his business has grown? Question one. Question two, how can we sell FlexUp to an existing business that has already 50 employees? Okay. So there's many different hooks. One of them is that through Local Heroes, she has all her contracts in the FlexUp app. All the orders, all the history of the payments, all the history of the commitments. And these users are using the app, and maybe some of these are using now the app with other people, right? So I'm an investor in True Local Heroes, and then I say, oh, FlexUp is nice. I want to invest in another company. I will tell them to use FlexUp as well. And now I'm a user of the FlexUp app, and I'm investing in two different companies. So if one of them says we don't use FlexUp anymore, then I go like, hey, bitch, I don't want to use another tool. Okay, I'm using FlexUp, it works. Let's keep using it. So that's what we call the high switching cost. So the lock-in is not that we own, because you use the word lock-in, Padma. The lock-in, the fact that we have equity in True Local Heroes doesn't lock them in. We are locked in their equity, right? But they're not, they can leave. The lock-in is that she spent months putting all her contracts in the app, and Nico has been doing it. You spent several hours putting all the contracts and making sure that all the orders are created. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So first of all, you need to find a new app that provides all of these features. And I don't know that there's many apps in the market, and probably they're not cheaper than FlexUp. And then you have to export everything. You have to import. Now we are nice guys, so we're creating export import features, and Mubarak and Zinu have worked on that feature, and it works well. But still, importing, exporting from one app to another is a lot of work. So if you're an entrepreneur, you were alone, then you have two people, and then 5 years later, you have 100 people. Everybody has his contract in the FlexUp app. Changing is going to be a lot of work. And then why would you want to change? Why? Because you find another app that is either better or cheaper or both. So we want to be better and cheaper. So they stay with us. Okay. That's for the app. Now, maybe your other question is the FlexUp economic model. That's nice for a small startup, but for a big company, come on. We got to be plain vanilla. We got to go to the standard system. Okay. So I have two answers for that. One, if you want to have new investors that come in and say, we don't care about FlexUp, plain vanilla, we have a standard contract, they can come in and make an investment using the conventional system. And you can still keep the FlexUp system for the other stakeholders. So FlexUp is very flexible. You can have a business where some people use a FlexUp system and some don't. In fact, you've seen when we created the contract this morning, Paola and Nico, we could select which is the applicable charter. Your charter, my charter, or no charter. If we say no charter, then it's a standard contract, conventional system. Okay?
What I don't completely buy here, sorry, when we are talking about bigger investors, it's not convenient for them because it's more convenient for them to keep equity, as we understand equity, outside the FlexUp system. So how are you planning to attract those investors?
As I just mentioned a few minutes ago, it's possible to an investor to call Lara and say, I want 10% of your company. Here's a check of €1 million.
Okay.
She can take the money and she sells him, she issues new shares. Yeah, she calls her lawyer. She creates a shareholder resolution, issuing new shares at this price. Boom. It has no impact. So the question is, you're asking, how can you have some people using FlexUp and some people not using FlexUp at the same time? How is that possible? Right, that's your question.
Right, because you are there then mixing with the problem of dilution of the percentage of equity, and so on one side, that's right. We are mixing two systems, the FlexUp system on the outside of the FlexUp system. So
Yes.
how is that to be compatible in
So we're going to spend several hours together, Paola, looking through the contract, making sure that it works. But the short answer is it's possible. Both of them can live side by side. In fact, in the specific case of True Local Heroes, it says it's in their charter that when she does a real funding round, issuing new shares, every person who has a token will receive 1 share for each token. Okay? But that's an option that she chose, right? But you could also say the tokens and the shares, they have the same economic rights, but the tokens will never become shares. They get the same benefits, but they're not the same. So I don't want to go too much into detail, but that's a key argument. You need to remember this. FlexUp is flexible. You can keep some contracts using the FlexUp system, some contracts using the conventional system at the same time in the same company.